Not quite. I think he thought it was that.
Needed some Stu Douglass.
Yeah, exactly.
Stu, shoot it. Stu,
If you're gonna pass to me in the corner, it's not coming out. I'll let you know that. Don't know when you're gonna see it again.
You're like Kofi Coburn in the corner. No assists. You can give the ball. That ball is going up. You better rebound. Every time Stu shoots it, like, oh shit. Every time he catches it, oh god.
Crash the boards. That's it.
Crash the boards. Who's getting back for Stu? Because Stu's not getting back.
No, you know damn well because you were in that corner with me. It was they have some shooters, no help. Weak side, strong side, didn't matter. We're not helping off. Nope. I remember playing Ohio State, and me and John Diebler literally was just running up the court. Probably we could have just held hands,
holding hands the whole
entire game. He didn't touch the ball, basically. I mean, he could come on screens because they knew what they were doing. But it was like we could have just run barely up and down the court, holding hands, maybe even interlocked arms. I don't know.
Had a deal like, hey, look, if neither of us crash, all of our energy is going to be good to go for the rest of this ball game.
We'll have our legs for the end.
Oh, man. John Diebler. There is a tape somewhere on ESPN where he knocked me down and he offered to help me up. And I said, F you. And I just turned my back and got up myself.
You're such a nice guy. Why would you do that?
Man, I know. I'm like the nicest guy out there. Oh, man.
Okay, we got a few more minutes. We're going to get out of here, but
we didn't cover much. We're just chilling.
Well, we'll cover a little bit. I think anything else. But we'll cover your basic generic, podcast questions about basketball. And that would be, are we worried about Michigan? Are we worried without Eli? Are you worried with Eli? Like, what are we seeing going into the postseason with guys with this, basically with this offense and not really having somebody that will step up, cough. I want to see Franz drive the ball 20 times, cough. You know what I'm saying? So what are you guys seeing with that?
You start off, Ant.
All right. So like from the kind of beginning of the year, I was saying, people would ask me like, hey, we're so good. Does this team have any weaknesses? Someone's like, yeah, we got weaknesses. Like, look, our backcourt right now is very, very solid, but they are not the backcourt that is going to lead you to a Final Four. And that is no disrespect to them. They do all the right things. Eli is a really good defender. I think Mike Smith does a good job in, picking his spots, but neither one of them are very explosive with the ball. Then you have Hunter Dickinson, who has been pretty good, but I think his name's like Zach Schneider put out a really, really cool stat the other day. He said the first time that Hunter Dickinson faces a team, he averages 20. The second time he faces that same team, he averages about 8. So I'm like, okay, if the guards can't do much, then Hunter Dickinson can't do much. You expect your 2 NBA prospects to step up. The issue is the NBA prospects are pretty limited, and that's no disrespect to them, but they feed off of others' creativity. They're not the ones creating themselves. Franz is really good driving, but he only goes to his right. Franz is a good shooter, though, but that in-between game just isn't there. Livers is very similar. Like, how many times a game do you really see him driving the ball with purpose? And it's like a spot-up 3, or he goes mid-post and he posts up, and he's probably going to fade back over his left shoulder. They're very easy to scout right now, and that, I think, is the biggest issue, especially going into an NCAA tournament. And then it's going to be an issue going into the Sweet 16, is because these guys are going to be able to get 4 or 5 days to really scout you. And when it comes to Michigan, it's a little bit of an easier scout. And if you cut off certain things, Michigan really struggles to score the ball and get going.
I'd say there's been a certain level of maybe predictability in the offense that is leading to maybe some more stagnant stretches that we're seeing, and they need to get a little creative or reinventive or whatever word you want to use of, where Dickinson gets his touches, how he gets his touches, what direction is he going in, where is he going, and whether it's spots where he's catching and looking to score, or whether it's spots where he's looking to catch and attract the defense and then kick out and try to get defenses in rotations, whatever it may be. It does seem, I feel like anyone, like us who's been watching every single Michigan game, there's starting to be a little level of like kind of
Very vanilla
against the wall of like, you're continuing to try to do this one thing or these two things, and it's just not working, so there's a season's worth of game tape for a lot of good coaches to see. They're not going to be that surprised. And if Eli's not there, it just makes you more vulnerable because, the ball's not going to move the way that it has been able to move when they've been at their best. So, if you're going to keep running the same stuff without a guy like Eli Brooks, well, that just, I think, creates even more of a more potential for these kind of dry spells or whatever it may be. So I think at this point you'd like to see they have some time here to look at some things, try some things, and go to Indy and find out, how to put different guys in different situations and put the ball into different spots that show something different.
I think it's up to both sides too, where it's like, yo, Franz, don't be staying in the corner. Isaiah, don't be staying in the corner. Like, move. We're looking at this team with 4 out, 1 in, and there's just zero movement. There was one drive last game, or no, I guess the game at Chrysler, where Mike Smith drove to the basket, kind of got bailed out because Franz cut to the basket, got the easiest layup he had all season. It's like, where has that been? That's the
Right.
it's an easy move for you to do. You're big. You can, even if the guy was on you and body you could still finish. So it comes down to both sides where I'm saying like players need to move. Juwan gives them the freedom. Okay, take advantage of it. Eli does it. You see Eli does it. Eli wants to do more of it. He's pretty good at it. But to get the other guys to do it, it takes everybody. So I think then Juwan's going to come back like, all right, if you guys aren't going to play confidently within this freedom, within this system that gives you freedom, then I'm going to, start giving you more structure. Or I don't know, sit some guys out and like let Sean D come in and shoot more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, part of the problem I feel like is, sometimes you have players with similar tendencies.
Yeah.
Of a, Livers, Franz, Sean D, where very comfortable getting into a spot where they want to shoot, right? And stand at the 3-point line, hope the ball comes to them and be able to put up a shot. And when there's no flow to the offense and you got guys just kind of looking for spots, that's what I feel like what you're talking about. Whereas Eli, he'd at least be running off screens or, catch the ball and be willing to dribble and move and do things like
off
that.
The bounce,
anything,
off the bounce. Yeah.
Anything, right.
Exactly. And that sucked seeing him get hurt because the way that he scored against Michigan State, boom, hits a 3. Boom, he drives, he pivots in the lane. You get into a lane and pivot, that is one of the deadliest things you can do on a basketball court.
Yeah. He had this little late season float, this little shot.
Yeah.
Developing this little quasi hook runner floater
one hand
thing. Yeah.
Guaranteed they talked to him about it. They say, hey, look, you haven't made it over top. Turn it under and make it a scoop and see if that works.
And it was. He hit that a couple times in that Michigan State game in Ann Arbor.
He hit it twice.
Yep.
Am
I wrong thinking that it doesn't really matter if they're a 1 or a 2 seed?
No, it doesn't matter. I don't think.
What would be the big?
The big thing is that you don't want to run into Baylor or Gonzaga until the Final Four. If you're a 2 seed, you'd be vulnerable because sure. that would assume then that other Big Ten teams might be the ones jumping up. So other than Alabama, really the only other potential one, you have Illinois. Like if Iowa goes and wins the Big Ten championship, Iowa could work its way up to a 1. If it's Illinois and Iowa, well, now Michigan would be looking at a 2 seed in a bracket with Baylor or Gonzaga because they would try to break it up to not have a Big Ten. I think I'm not sure how that really.
Yeah, I think I think they're saying the top 4 seed lines can't face each other until the second weekend. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Right. And now Michigan would be likely be the highest ranked number 2 seed.
Number 2.
So
right.
they would probably be paired with the lowest one
Illinois
seed.
or Iowa. Yeah.
You know,
I can definitely see that.
That's probably the case. But even still, I mean, I do think there is some benefit to being a 1. That said, short of Iowa winning the Big Ten and Michigan losing in its first game, I don't know if there's that many scenarios that knock Michigan off the 1 line.